This is probably going to be a very long video. I'm so sorry in advance. Guys, we have officially unlocked the new angle. Shout out to all the content creators out there because y'all are a lot stronger than me. This took me so long to figure out. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, but I didn't know what else to do for this week's video. The weeks have not been going right and we just got to keep it rolling, right? So I thought for today's video, I could share with you guys all of the series that I'm currently in the middle of. Right now, I am currently in the middle of 49 series. I thought I could break this up into series that I'm currently like officially in the middle of. The book is ready to read. It's either on my shelf or I'm renting it from the library, I'm renting it from Libby, but it's ready to be completed. And then I'll go over every series that I'm in the middle of, but I'm waiting for the next release to come out for me to read it. This is currently my handy dandy Notion. I track all my series on Notion. I built this like over a year ago and I have just been building and building and building on it. It's become my favorite way to track all the series that I'm reading. A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin. We already know about Game of Thrones. We already know that I have not finished it. I pulled it for a TBR. We did not do it. But I feel like I can 100% get ready to read the second book at least by the end of the year. I feel like I could read the second book by the end of the year. I don't know. I'm not going to pull it for another TBR. I'm just letting y'all know that now. If I read one book a year, it should be enough. The Bathhouse Beasts series. So this is a series where supernatural creatures are in the bathhouse or in a sauna or in like a nice, you know, spa. The first one I read was between a werewolf and a human, and there was a sauna, and things ensued. And it's essentially 15 books of just that. The second book, I think, is the Anubis Massage. I am definitely going to continue the series. It's just a nice series to read when you just want something fun, light, get it off your mind. I didn't expect to enjoy the first book as much as I did, but I was pleasantly surprised. I think Blake R. Wolf has another series, like other books, and I may read some of their other books, but for now, I might just continue the Bathhouse Beast series. This is already becoming a very bad idea. The Behind Bars series by Louise Collins. This is basically a prison series. The first book was about, I want to say, a cop that worked at the prison already in between a prisoner that was in jail for murder. This is another book that I didn't expect to like as much as I did, but I absolutely loved how book one ended. And I'm excited for the next book because I think the next book is between a prisoner and a psychologist. So we love that. The Big Bad Wolf series by Charlie Hara. I love a detective romance, and this is one of the series that I found when I was looking for other detective romances. I want to say this is between an ex-FBI agent named Cooper. He was in an attack, and after the attack, the FBI basically let him go and assigned him to a special investigations unit. This unit basically investigates murders that are tied to werewolf attacks. Cooper ends up having to work with another officer who is actually a werewolf and part of the specifically werewolf FBI equivalent. They end up having to work together on a case, and the series follows them over each of the 5 books, I'm going to say. I enjoyed the first one. I think because I was a bit hesitant to read the second one after I had already read the first one, that's why I didn't continue it. I do want to get to it because I want to give the series another chance. It's not a bad series. It was just they had already got together, and that's usually when I lose interest because I thought it would drag out more, but it didn't. But it was a good series, and I may pick it up again because I still haven't found very many werewolf detective series. The Cerulean Chronicles. This is the House of the Cerulean Sea Chronicle. I've already read the first one. I absolutely love the first one. It's basically following Lucas Baker. He works with the Department of Magical Youth as a caseworker, and he is sent to basically a secluded island where they are investigating whether the magical children there are a danger to themselves or to others, as well as the foster parent, Arthur Parnassus. Love the first book. I have tried to start the second book and I haven't really got into it. I think it's one of those books I'm gonna have to wait until I'm really in the mood for like something cozy again, but definitely intend to continue the duology. I think it's going to be a duology. I don't think it's going to be a full series. The Crave series by Tracy Wolf. I was tricked into reading this series by one of my friends who picked my TBR for that month. I definitely enjoyed the graphic audios more than I enjoyed reading the book. It is a YA series and it definitely reads as YA, which is why I don't really intend to actually read it without the graphic audiobook. But I do intend on reading the third book simply because I need to figure out what happens with the couple after the way the book 2 ended. That is the only reason that I'm going to continue the series, because I need to know what happens with that couple as well as hopefully another couple. I need to know how this love square ends, okay? It's not a love triangle. It's more like a disconnected love square. And I don't know. If you like Twilight, read this one. If you like Twilight, go read the Crave series if you want something more YA. It was a fun series for me and I'll continue it. I don't think I'll read all 6 books, but for now, it is a series I'm going to continue. The Crazy Rich Asians series. This was also a series that was picked by one of my friends. Didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I have not seen the movie, so I was very happy to read the book. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I do not care what's happening with Nick and Rachel. I want to know what's going on with Astrid. She is too glamorous for everything to be happening that's happened to her with that man. I do not care what's happening with Rachel and Nick. But it was a good book and it was definitely a nice introduction to more literary romance, I would say, because it is a romance book, but I enjoy more of like the Astrid side plot as well as the talk between like the Chinese elder women. That was so funny. I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the humor. Definitely going to continue this one. This is a series that I've already talked about on my channel before. It's the Criminal Intention series by Cole McCade. I am on book 10, I want to say. I have not started book 10 because I want to invest all my time into it. Okay, I'm going to get sucked in. Once I read book 10, I want to go ahead and read books 10 through 13 so I can go ahead and finish season 1. But I am definitely invested in the love story between Sunjay and Malcolm. But I'm definitely going to continue this one. I really love this series and I may read their other book, I think, over and over again. Definitely want to read their other book. The Death and the Devil series by L.J. Hayward. This is another detective, quote unquote, series, but it's not really detective. It follows Jack, who is like an ex-SAS soldier, and this is set in Australia. And as Jack is on an undercover mission, he basically gets his cover blown by a man named Ethan Blade. Jack works for the Australian Metastate, and Ethan Blade is basically like one of the top 5 on their hit list. And it basically follows them having to survive having both of their covers blown. The book is also set in both the past and the present, and so you get snippets of what happened a year ago versus what is happening in present time, where Ethan Blade comes back and basically turns himself into the Australian Metastate. I didn't continue with the second book immediately because I was like, okay, I didn't fully understand what was going on in terms of the plot because it was like past and present, but once I ended, I was like, oh, okay, that's the whole story of what happened. So I may reread the first book and then go into the second book again. The Evergreen University series by Lee McCormick and R.S. McKenzie. I read the first book, Blitz, way before I knew that a second book was going to come out, so I kind of just started the series and didn't know. I think the second book has since come out, I just haven't read it yet. I don't remember what this series is about. I want to say it's like a football romance that was like categorized as like dark, possessive, that type of thing. It was okay. I think I rated it 3 stars. It was okay at the time, which is why I wasn't really like prioritizing the second book. I think it was supposed to be enemies to lovers, but when you read it, you're like, girl, there are no enemies here. The Flesh and Bone series by Joel Abernathy. This is a series that I do very much intend to continue. The first book, Exhale, covered a human dad who recently lost his wife. And during that time, him and his daughter moved to a new city and then his daughter get kidnapped. I feel like I've mentioned this series before. He goes on a search for her and he basically ends up finding out that his wife was involved with werewolves. And so he ends up falling in love with his wife's first husband, supposedly. Not very high on my priority, but I did enjoy book 1, so definitely gonna continue it. The Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Y'all, I read this series like so long ago, it's not even funny. It's on here. I completed Shadow in the Ember in 2024. I have not picked up this series since then. I liked the series. I just was like, by the time I got the second book, because I read the first book from the library and I was like, oh, I actually like this. And then the second book kept getting a hold on it from the library. So I was like, let me just buy the entire series. And I bought the entire series and then pick it up again. I enjoy book 1. I am going to read book 2. I just don't know when that'll happen because I feel like I need to read book 1 just so that I can understand exactly what happened in book 2. But I really don't because I remember the whole gist of it. I remember the whole gist of book 1. I just need to confirm that I know what's happening before I can pick up the second book. That's really what happens with me. I just forget. I forget everything. And then I pick it up and like, actually, I remember all of this. I didn't need to pick this up again. Forbidden Goals by Rebecca Wraith. I think I've mentioned this series before too. I am reading this series out of order. It's basically a series of interconnected standalone sports romances. I read the 9th one first, which is the most recent one. That one's a wrestling romance and that one was really good. And that introduced me to Rebecca Wraith. I did not enjoy Head in the Game as much. I want to say Head in the Game was football? Oh yeah. It was between a football coach and a star player with behavioral issues. That one was okay. I didn't really like that one as much as I liked the 9th one. And I think none of the other books are also as good as the 9th one. So that's why I haven't picked up another one. I've been like bopping around trying to see which one I want to pick up next, but I'm not reading this series in order. It's just something that I read when I'm like, I want something nice and fun and don't have to think too much, but I know exactly what I want. So I go pick one of these up. But I do like the 9th one. Pin Down was good. The From Nothing series by Nordica Knight. This is the Garen Park series. I enjoyed book one. I want to say book one was between two technical enemies to lovers. They're growing up in a trailer park and it kind of all comes to a head because one of them is super possessive of the other one. It was described as a motocross sports romance. I will tell y'all, there's not much motocrossing going on in this story. I was looking for sports and I got something totally different, but it was still good. Like, it was okay. Devin is looking for his brother one day and they have a lot of family issues going on at home. And instead he finds Maddox, and what happens is they end up relying on each other and being there for each other inside of this like very tough situation. Wasn't very high on my priority. The first one I think was okay, but it was kind of emotional or just not very sporty in my opinion. But it was okay. I liked it. Green Creek series by TJ Klune. This is the Wolfsong series. I have pulled the second book, Ravensong, for TBR. Did not read it. I need to read book one first again. And I didn't really enjoy book one. That's why I haven't picked it up. But I feel like I'm enjoying book two because it follows two very different characters. Book one was just kind of, the situation was like, you're pushing it, Mr. Klune. But it was still a good story. It just wasn't there. Like, I didn't really get the romance in that one. So that's why I didn't pick it up. But I forgot every character that was in book one. Like, I can tell you essentially maybe what the plot was about. And I can tell you how it ended, sort of. Not a lot. But I want to continue the series because I have all the books now and they're going to follow very different couples. I just didn't like the first book. The Heartstopper series. I'm actually trying to finish this one maybe by the end of August. I have read all volumes 1 through 5. My library just got volume 6. So I am very intent on reading and finishing this series. I think it's a very cute series. I think I'm going to give the overall series like a 3.5. Very cute story with Nick and Charlie. Loved it. I need to finish watching the TV show, so maybe once I finish, I will finish watching the TV show. Kafka Library is just my collection of Franz Kafka works in the order that I've chosen to read them in. I've only read one, which is Letter to His Father. I am going to add them like individually. I've added, I think, all of the letters that he's written, so I want to read them in a very specific order. I read Letter to His Father first because I was trying to figure out what would be a good order, and someone suggested reading the Letter to His Father first because it gave you better insight on who he was as a person and also as a writer, and I agree with that. I read the Letter to His Father and I was like, I get you, man. I'll list in the video the order that I'm reading these books in case anyone's curious. But yeah, I'm going through that. I have not picked up another one because I think Metamorphosis was next, or like one of his stories was next. I was like, let me go ahead and read Metamorphosis because that's like the most popular and that's one I've probably already read before. But when I finished reading Letter to His Father, I actually wanted to read the other letters to like Melina and Atla and friends and everyone else. But I was like, let me take my time and actually get to these. So I put it away and I read something else, but I'm slowly going through this. This is not going to be rushed. None of my classics are going to be rushed, which is probably why I haven't pulled them for a TBR. None of them are going to be rushed because I really want to take my time with them. Legacy of God series. So I've only read God of Fury, y'all, but here's why. So I read God of Fury and I was like, oh, this is great. Figured out it was part of a much larger series. There's like 6 books in this one, but then I was like, oh, okay, so this is part of a much larger universe. So I was like, maybe I should just read the Rena Kent verse, like from start to finish, from like the parents to they are now. I feel like that might be better. So I have not picked up another, I've not picked up another Legacy of Gods book since then. The only thing that I'm not reading like in order is the villains, like Hunt the Villain and Kiss the Villain. I have not read Kiss the Villain, but I've read Hunt the Villain, and I'm definitely going to read Crave the Villain. I think that's the 3rd one that's going to come out. And I really want to get into like the Sweet Venom hockey series that she has going on. I really want to get into that one. So those are the only 2 series that I'm not really concerned about reading with the Rena Kent verse. But for all the other ones, I do want to read them in a very specific order, so I haven't picked it up yet. The Leighton U series by CEVC. I personally love this series. This is one of my favorite hockey series. Granted, I haven't read Heated Rivalry yet. I've tried to read Game Changers so much and I just can't get into it. I might just skip Game Changers. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. But I love the Leighton U series. Now, I do have beef with this series, which I think I've said before. I hate books 2 and 3. Number 1, fantastic. You know what? After reading books 2 and 3, I was like, you know what, book 1? You're that girl. Hated books 2 and 3, but book 2 is the best written book. I hate the book. hate is a strong word. I dislike one of the characters in book 2 so much that it ruined the entire book for me. But I think book 2 is the best written one out of the entire series. Playing Dirty book 4, I loved it. It was fantastic. I think I rated that one higher than I rated Iced Out, but if I was gonna reread one, it's gonna be Iced Out. I reread Iced Out like at least once every couple months. But I haven't bought the 5th book yet. I do want to collect the 5th book because I have been collecting all of them since they've been on print. The next book got released in February, so that's the last of that series, and I'm gonna complete it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Not really high on my priority because I'm like, dang, do I want to reread the whole series? Probably not, because book 3, y'all. Book 3 almost took me out. Oh my god, I hated that book. Anyways, the Lyonesse series by CRMO. Here's the thing. I almost DNF'd this series. I read Salt Kiss first. I think that's the first book in the series too. I did not like the writing. I just couldn't do it. I didn't understand the romance. I didn't understand the relationship. And so I'm very, very, very tempted to DNF this series. But I'm so curious as to how this triangle ends up. Because we don't even get the triangle in book 1. We only get the MM, and I still didn't like it. I was like, ah. Sierra Simone has this other series, right? I forget what it's called. It's like American Gods. It's like the president. What's the name of that series called? No. Sierra Simone has this other series called the Priest series that I am dying to get into. But I'm like, if I don't like the writing, is it worth it? You know, is it worth it? Is that series better than the Lyonesse series? Somebody tell me who's read these books. Is the Lyonesse series worse than the Priest series? Like, is the Priest series better? Because if the Priest series is better, I'm going to DNF this one. I'm going to read the Priest one. I will do it. Marshals series by Mary Combs. This is a detective MM romance. Here's the thing. I don't remember anything that happened inside this series. At all. I don't remember anything that happened. I was reading a lot of detective series at one point. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I knew that I wanted to give the series another try, which is why it's not in my DNF pile. Because it wasn't bad. There was one series that I definitely DNF'd. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it. But it wasn't this one. It's like a former soldier or a current soldier with massive amount of PTSD. Massive amount of PTSD. But I'm wondering if that's the same series. Like, I know the characters because I'm looking at the characters right now. But Ian, it says, is a marshal and a soldier. But I'm wondering if it's the same person that I'm thinking of, because he was like a little off. He was a little off. I think I liked how book 1 ended. I apologize. I don't know what happened in the series. I'm not reading it over though, because I feel like I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what happened. For people who have read the series, is this a series where the room blows up? Or is it the series where they almost get, buried? Is that where? Is this the series? Someone let me know. Because it's not in the description and I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, I don't remember, y'all. I remember most things. The Monstrous series by Lily Mayne. I do like this series. I read the first book, which was... Oh, it's right there. Soul Eater. The first book is called Soul Eater. But anyways, the first book follows Wynn, who is a soul eater, and everybody inside the town is set in kind of like a dystopian apocalyptic world where they know that these type of monsters exist, like monsters are common and something is kind of eating the humans, and they think it's Wynn. They think Wynn is the one who is destroying everybody. And then there's Danny, a human, and I think Danny ends up being forced to go with Wynn, but he ends up embarking with Wynn on this journey of actually trying to find who is killing the humans, or finding out why Wynn is actually killing humans per se. But that's just the first book. Each book follows a completely different character and a completely different monster and a completely different couple. I'm hoping that I can get to at least the second book, because I think the second book follows the purple monster. It follows Eden, and he was really fun in the first book. And so I was really excited to read his story. I've heard some mixed reviews about the rest of the series, but I know a lot of people love Moth and they hate Reich, but I'm going to go in it, of course, with my own preferences and like mindset. And so I'm eventually going to read it. I'm just taking my time. It's not really a high priority for me. I don't even know if the series is actually still ongoing. Let me check that. The next book is set to come out January 1st of 2028. That's a long time. The New Haven series by J.L. Seegers. Y'all have heard me wax poetics about Revive Me Part 1, The Act. I have since then read the Revive Me Part 2, The Affair. It wasn't as good as The Act, but it was still good. A lot of people say that they wish that The Act had come out before Restore Me. I disagree, only because if I was to go back and read Restore Me, then all of Dominic's actions, and Dominic is the MC who is inside Restore Me, it's a completely different couple. All of his action kind of makes more sense. And so if I was going to go back and read Restore Me, I would look at him differently. I didn't really get what his whole deal was, but after reading Revive Me, you kind of get what his whole deal was, because in Revive Me, it follows not only the main couple that's in Revive Me, which is Mallory and Chris, but it also features like all the other characters when they were in college. The only reason I say I wouldn't write, the only reason I say I don't really prefer it being first is because I like knowing that Eric is dead before we get to Revive Me. You know that Eric is dead based off the description in Restore Me. He is the husband of the widow of the female main character, Sloane, in book 1. So I like knowing that Eric is already dead. I like knowing the past secondhand from the present. So I thought that was a really good touch. So I'm definitely going to continue the series. I already have part 3 of Revive Me. I want to say it's called The Apology. And I'm definitely going to read that. And then I'm just really waiting for all the books to be released in deluxe format, because this is a series that was already released. They're just re-releasing it in like new covers and new sprayed edges. And I really like the new covers that they have. So I'm collecting them and I'm loving it. No Holds Barred, Eve Holmes. This is a MMA/wrestling type of MM romance series. It's like a sports romance series, and I enjoyed the first book. I think the second book actually doesn't actually end inside of like a happy ever after, so that was interesting, but I wasn't mad at it. I just didn't pick up the second series. I think at the time it wasn't ready, but it has been released since then, which is why I marked the series as completed. It basically follows 2 rival MMA fighters, and they were originally competing for a position at a gym with a well-known famous fighter, and one ended up getting it, but both end up going. And so they basically spend the whole first book still at each other's throats, but it kind of gets resolved, and there's an incident that happened. There was a lot of stuff going on actually. And it didn't end in a happily ever after. So I was going to continue the series to see how or if they ever end up together. Possum Hollow by Aaron Russell. This is the Stupid Dirty series, I think it's called. There's 4 books in this series. It's ongoing. This is how I know I don't be checking on this as much as I need to be. The book is already released. Anyway, this is another motocross series. This one actually does feature actual motocross. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this book is about. I bet if I read it again, I'd be like, oh, I already read this. But I've said this so many times. I promise y'all, I know what the books are about, just not like off the top of my head. This is why I write reviews, okay? This is why I write reviews. I didn't write a review for this one, but I remember liking it. I think I like this one more than I like Garen Park, or did I like Garen Park more than I like this one? As a matter of fact, there's an easy way to determine this. I rated this 2 stars. That's why I don't remember. What did I rate Garen Park? 3 stars. See? This is why we have a tracker. I'm so sorry, y'all. I don't remember what the series is about, but I do remember that the second book is supposed to follow a completely different couple, which is why it's not DNF. Because I like the writing. I think I just didn't like the story of the couple that was in this one. The Pritty series by Keith F. Miller. I am 100% about to finish this duology. I don't even know it's just a duology. Please write another book. I say as I haven't even read the second book yet, but I don't care, okay? Write another book. I love this one. I mentioned this one, I think, in one of my wrap-ups. I found this one out. I found it at the library when I was looking for Black queer books for June. It was such a good love story of like family, community, while also being like, dang, man, how old are these kids again? Because why y'all going through this? Like, why? What's going on? It's a good story. I highly recommend y'all read it. I already have the second book. It is ready to read. It's on my shelf. I have not picked it up yet. I am waiting to have some time to like get to certain books, and this is one of them. I'm excited. I'm so excited. These boys have been through so much, y'all. Y'all just don't understand. Reckless Games series by C.E. Reese. I can already tell you right now, I have no idea what happened in Don't You Dare. I know it's like a friends to lovers, and one of them dares the other one to like kiss them, and that's essentially the story, and it all goes downhill from there. That's all you really need to know about that. I am intending to reread this one because when I read this one, I didn't know it was a duology. Well, now I have to reread Don't You Dare. I read this one in 2024. I have no idea what happened in this book, but it was really just friends to lovers and romance. That's all it was, but I remember enjoying it a lot. I say a lot, and I bet I rated it 3 stars. 3.5, so it was a lot. I did rate it a lot. I did like it a lot. Run This Town by Avril Ashton. I remember this series because I have reread Watch Me Break You several times. It's not even that like the series is like extremely good. I just really like that couple. I've mentioned this book before. This is like Russian mafia meets Jamaican mafia in the middle of Coney Island. The rest of the books do follow different couples. I have read Watch Me Body You. That one was okay. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first book. Rush is the novella that goes along with Watch Me Break You. It's like a continuation of their story that I still enjoyed. And then of course they're all interconnected. So I am most likely going to continue it. I'm just not as invested in the other couples as I was invested in Rush and Xavier. Seven of Spades by Cordelia Kingsbridge. Please don't ask me what this book is about. I feel like I'm getting this book confused with All Kinds of Tied Down by Mary Combs, and I'm just trying to figure out which book is which. And the descriptions give me nothing. And I wrote no reviews for either of them because I was like, they were okay. This is a detective MM romance. Again, I was going on a binge, you guys. I was going on a binge. I didn't like this series, I think, as much as I've liked the other ones that I've read. And maybe that's why I don't remember it. But I said I was going to give the second book another try. I was also told that this series doesn't end the way that you might want it to. So that's another reason why I think I didn't continue it. Because I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Or was it All Kinds of Tied Down? You see, these are the two series that I'm getting mixed up. So I'm not even going to say anything else. Silk and Still by Ariana Nash. This is a series that I definitely remember. I stopped this. It's 7 books. I stopped this series because it's a fantasy series and I was invested in the lore that was going on. And book 1 ends off on a cliffhanger. And a lot of people are saying it gets really dark. So I needed to prepare myself for that. Even though I feel like it might not be that dark. But it follows Erewhon, who is an elven assassin sent to kill the queen of the dragons. However, when he's taken captive, he ends up being part of the queen's harem. And of course, he sees this as an opportunity. Meanwhile, there's also Prince Lysander, who I feel like the queen doesn't like at all. I feel like that's her brother or her son. It was very incestuous for a second there, but nothing happens. I can't say that with full confidence, and I'm so sorry. Prince Lysander is not very liked by his mother. The plot, I feel like, is very involved. There was a very good world building there. It does not end on a happy ever after. It actually ends on much of a cliffhanger because even though Prince Lysander and Erewhon meet one time, they eventually get separated, but they spend the entire book basically looking for each other. And it is insane. I'm like, dang, can they please just like put the pieces of the puzzle together? It's like as soon as they try to like save one another, something happens and they get separated, or something happens and like somebody's lying, or something happens and lots of feelings in this one. So I really enjoyed this series. I just have to mentally prepare myself for the next one just in case it does get really dark. The State of Us by Bree Wiley. This is the Finding Delaware series. I think there's actually going to be another book because there's already 3 books out. It's Finding Delaware, Crossing Arizona, Finding Utah? Saving Utah? Something about Utah. I know for a fact that Finding Delaware is kind of a bully romance in my opinion. It's definitely a bully romance in my opinion. It's very much go in with your mind open of some trigger warnings. It's not very triggering for me, but it could be triggering for other people. However, it's very much one of those situations where you're like, there's a redemption arc and you kind of accept it or you don't. But it wasn't so bad. I liked the first one. Crossing Arizona was much more about another couple who were best friends, and one of the boys get basically tricked into having a baby with a woman. They had raised that baby inside Finding Delaware, so you know all about that. But in Crossing Arizona, it follows a complete change in what happened to their story. So it follows different couples. I do eventually intend to continue the series, but I'm not sure if I have the drive to continue it anymore. Like, I'm pretty satisfied. And also could just be because I don't remember who the other couples are supposed to be. I think it's no longer ongoing because the next book already came out inside April, so I'm going to delete that. I haven't heard about any other book that's supposed to be after Forgiving Utah. But this was an okay series, I think. I don't know if I'll ever continue it. I don't want to DNF it, but I'm also going to change the series number to 4. Oh yeah, look, I put it down there. Exposing Colorado and Loving Ohio. I don't know. I might just DNF it because I don't intend on reading Forgiving Utah. I don't know. We might have to go back and read Exposing Colorado. But I have to read Loving Ohio first, don't I? Was the series good enough for me want to continue? It was okay. We'll see. The Straight Guys by Alexandra Hazard. Here's the thing. This is like a bajillion books. She just came out with another one too. So I'm just kind of reading these all out of order. You could read these in order because sometimes every now and again some characters are connected to other characters in the books, but they follow completely different storylines and completely different couples. So you can read these completely out of order. I've only been reading the ones that sound interesting to me. Sweet Series by Joan Bassar. I don't know how I found this book, but I had ordered it and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. This basically is an MM romance that's set in like the 1950s, I want to say. And our main character, Michael, he leaves Atlanta, Georgia after finding out that the man that he was been sleeping with, like on the low, is actually about to marry somebody else, a woman. And so he moves to New York City because they're supposed to be a little bit more open there, but not by much. I think this one was okay. I like the series. I definitely wanted to continue it. I just haven't ordered the books yet because they aren't on Kindle Unlimited. A quick, easy read, and it was kind of sweet. I think I had some issues with the smut. The Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. There you go. I'm gonna read it, okay? I'm gonna read Onyx Flame, but I'm not vexed to read Onyx Flame, okay? I didn't like Iron Flame. It's not Onyx Flame, it's Onyx Storm. I'm gonna read Onyx Storm. I didn't like Iron Flame. Fourth Wing was good. Iron Flame kind of took all the drive out of me. And then I saw that it was gonna be 5 books. I am in no rush to read this series. And plus, I've been reading it on graphic audio. So I'm gonna have to wait for the rest of them to come out on graphic audio. And I'm not reading Threshing Day because I feel like I don't need to. I'm the type of person who hates the little side note novellas if I feel like they aren't essential to the story. I'm not gonna read them. The Milvus Files by N.R. Walker. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't know what happened in the story. Mind you, I remember the book, but I don't know the story. I remember the book correctly because I was like, this one was okay. I didn't like it a lot, but it was highly recommended because a lot of people liked N.R. Walker. So I was like, oh, I'm excited. And then I read The Kite and I was like, I think it's a military romance. Yep, ex-Australian specialist response group 10 Harry Harrigan, single-handedly taken down terrorists. He's been in the game for a long time. I remember this one. They team up because one person, I think, sent them to kill each other. Or Asher was sent to kill Harry and he's like, I got a hit out on me too. So I remember this one. I think I just didn't enjoy the writing that much, but I was like, let me give them another try because maybe the next book will be better. Here's the thing about Mortal Instruments. I am not reading past book 6 of the Mortal Instruments series. I am going to read the trilogy of Infernal Device, but I am not reading past book 6 of the Mortal Instruments. The only reason that I am reading this series is because I used to be a constant watcher and still is a constant watcher of the TV show. That is the only reason that I'm reading the series, because I was curious as to how different the books were from the series. They are extremely different. In my opinion, I was like, whoa, this is a completely different story. It's not a bad series. I will say City of Ashes almost took me out. It's either City of Ashes or City of Glass. City of Bones, I was like, okay. City of Ashes or City of Glass, they almost took me out. I was like, I can't do it. I cannot finish the series. What didn't I like about this one? I think it was because of Clary. I'm not gonna lie to you, I think it was because of Clary. The writing was actually not that bad. So that's why I'm going to continue the series, because they say that the Infernal Devices is better than the Mortal Instruments. So I'm going to see. But overall, this is an okay YA series, in my opinion. This is an okay fantasy series too, because she does do a lot of world building, which I appreciated. She does do a lot of world building and the writing was okay. But I personally am not a Clary stepper, guys. I'm sorry. She's probably better in the series, like the TV show. If I'm being honest, she's much better in like the season 2 of the TV show. The Vitale Brothers by Bria Aleppo and Skylar Snow. I am slowly but surely going to continue the series eventually. Like, I have no idea when I'm actually going to continue the series. I think at this point, the series is continued. Like, it's done. Like, it's finished. It's completed. I'm gonna make that completed. This is an Italian mafia romance that follows the Vitale brothers of the mafia, and each of them have their own story. I tried to start book 1, but I couldn't really get into it. And then I looked up to see if I could read them out of order, and it was like, you can. So I was like, let me just try Say I Do. Say I Do was an arranged marriage between one of the Vitale brothers, Benito, and a Japanese Yakuza son named Harlow. I love that one. I love that book a lot. I might reread it very soon. And so I'm like, after reading Say I Do, I wanted to give the series another chance, because I'm like, maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset and wasn't used to the writing when I tried to do the first book. The World of Reforged. I feel like I've spoken about this series before. I recently read Reborn, which is the second book. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I enjoyed Reforged. I definitely intend to continue the series. I'm kind of just waiting to get the ebook for the third one so that I can read it in tandem with the audio. The audiobooks are amazing. They're narrated by Gary Furlong. He also narrates another series that he made me love. He's just a really good narrator. And I'm like, whoa. So I'm hoping that I can find some other fantasy series that he's narrated and maybe listen to those. But this is a really good fantasy series. I like it. It's much more on the cozy side in my opinion, but there is some stuff that happens. Not very high stakes in my opinion, but it's very enjoyable. The Triloka series by Avery Hendricks. Y'all, the recent book just came out and I can't wait. The recent book came out this year and nobody told me. I am on book 3. Book 4 came out this year and I did not know. I did not know book 4 came out this year. I have been waiting waiting since 2025 to get this book. Didn't know it came out this year. It came out in July, I want to say. Either came out in July or June. And I looked and I was like, whoa. Where was the announcement? I love this series so bad, y'all. It is such a good high fantasy. And I had to read books 3 and 4. These are not small books. These things are chunky. And I'm going to reread books 1 and 2. I am definitely going to reread book 1. I love book 1. I rated book 1 5 stars, and I think I'll stand by that. You have to read these in order. They are not standalones. I believe Avery Hendricks wanted to be like one very long epic that has been separated into 5 parts. I am sad. Okay, I'm so sad. Y'all don't know how sad I am. They're asking me to get out the bookstore, but I can't because I'm so sad. I'm ready for book 5 and I haven't even read books 3 and 4. I don't care. Valor and Doyle mysteries. This is a detective romance. This is like the first or second one that I read, and I put it down because I think I got into a place where I was like, okay, I can just come back whenever. This follows Quaid and Aslan. They're basically 2 detectives who are forced to work together because the department thinks it's going to be a good idea. Their boss thinks it's going to be a good idea. They, of course, are complete opposites, but they eventually, things ensue. It is a good series. I do intend to finish it. I just got to a nice stopping point and I stopped and I found other series that I wanted to read more. So I'll eventually go to it. I may pick up one here and there. Water, Air, Earth, and Fire by Lyonesse. Here's the thing. The first one was okay. The only reason that I'm really continuing it is because I want to get to the throuple. There's a throuple in here and I think it's Fire. It's the last book. And I'm like, dog. So I was like, well, let me just read all of them. Let me see. The first one was okay. I think it followed like a retired swimmer, like a retired celebrity or something. But it was okay. I wasn't crazy about the writing, which I think is what put me off on continuing it like back to back to back. I'm not in a rush to read it, but I do want to like get through it soon because I think the books after the first one are much better. I think it's just the first one that you have to get through and then the rest of them will be better. But I don't actually know. So it was okay. That's the last one. That is the end of all the books that are 100% ready to read. That took so long. Do y'all even want to see the rest of them? I'm gonna do them anyway. It's not that many. It's okay. We got some time. But those are all the books that I'm currently in the middle of. And there's nothing really holding me back other than me and finishing them. The rest of these are going to be books that I'm waiting for there to be a release from. We've got The Crossed Lines by Vera Gray. I've mentioned this series before. The first one followed 2 actors. They played in their first MMBL together, and then tension, romance. This book is actually coming out this month. Actually, it's coming out on the 28th, so I think I'm going to read that one when it comes out. I'm not sure, but I liked the first one. It was okay. So I put that one on waiting next release because I wanted to keep a lookout for it. The Like Teammates by Jonah York. There is going to be a 3rd book. I have also mentioned this series on my channel because I like the first one. I do not like the 2nd book. I do not like Salt. I'm going to give Jonah York one more try though because I got faith. I think the story in the 2nd one just was not for me. And I didn't like the romance. I didn't like the smut. It was okay. It wasn't like moving like the first one was. Like for some reason, when I read Sweat, I was like, okay, girl, what's next? You're like, I'm ready. Okay. The 2nd one was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know when the 3rd one's getting released. So we must wait for a release date. But I'm going to read the next one. Memento Mori. I am sat. Okay, this is another series that I am sat for. I read all 4 books. I know exactly what happens in this series. Give me some more Ira Doyle and Larkin. Okay, give me some more of them. I need this 5th book immediately. I'm invested. I feel like I have a theory going on about what's going to happen in the 5th book, and I need it confirmed. I need it confirmed. This is a great detective romance. If you want one that's not a lot of smut, this is definitely one that I would recommend because it doesn't have any. It's like closed door, or at least not a lot of it. Like there's some, but it's not a lot, and you don't get it until like way after. You're good, like way out there. But I love their love story. I love the 1st book. I love the way that Ira is characterized. I've also downloaded the audiobooks for this, and the narrator is very good. So if I'm going to reread them, I might go ahead and listen to the audiobooks because I've never like listened to the complete series in audiobook format, but the audiobooks are also really good. The narrator for that one, Kel Williams, I feel like gives a very good distinction between Ira's character and Everett's character. He gives very good like tonal distinction because it's very important for Larkin's character. It's just a really good series, guys. Check it out. I love it. Tears from the Sky. Here's the thing. I have no idea when this book is coming out. I've mentioned this book before as well. This is a shifter romance. There's griffins, there's lions, and there's wolves. Yes. I have no idea when this book is going to come out. I have no news on it, no nothing. I don't even know how many books are going to be in a series. However, when it comes out, I'm going to read it. The Callisto Chronicles by Annie Summerlee. I read the Book of Blood and Roses earlier this year when it first came out, I want to say. At first, I thought it was YA because at Barnes & Noble, it was near the YA section, but I guess it wasn't completely in the YA section. It is not YA, by the way. This is not a YA book. But this is a sapphic vampire romance. It follows our main character, Rebecca. She is basically sent undercover to this vampire human academy by her boss to uncover what they call the Book of Blood and Roses, which holds every single thing that you could think of on how to defeat a vampire. Rebecca is undercover as a normal student. She is normally a vampire hunter, but nobody knows that. She was originally supposed to have a solo room, but she ends up getting roomed with Elise, who is kind of vampire royalty. I liked the book. I think it kind of dragged on a little bit, but the way that it ended, I wanted to continue the series and see what happens after everything was resolved, because it ends on kind of a cliffhanger for their relationship, but I'm excited to see where it goes, if it goes somewhere else. I don't know where the plot is taking us, which is why I wanted to see what the next book was going to be about. Goodreads says it's supposed to come out January 21st of next year, so we're going to add that. The Darling Brothers. This is a series by Amy Sanders that I'm gonna be honest, I don't 100% vibe with. I love Amy Sanders' writing. This is a cowboy romance series. It follows one of each of the Darling Brothers. The last Darling Brothers book is about to come out, I think very soon. Yep, it's coming out this year on August 27th. I am gonna read it. I've already read the other 3. I don't particularly like the series completely. I would give it overall maybe like a 3-star. I think the only one I wasn't crazy about was Saddle the Sun Up. Like that one I was just like, nah. Sweet Like Whiskey was okay. Brim Over Root was okay. It's just an okay series. The Omegaverse Case File series by C.T. Whistle. I am invested in this series. This is exactly what it says. It started as a detective romance series between an alpha and a sigma. Each book follows a different character. The second book follows traditionally an alpha and omega, and the third book follows 2 alpha romances. The next book is going to follow 2 omegas. So I'm definitely going to read that. We don't know when the book is coming out, but when it does, I will be there because I love C.T. Whistle's writing. She's coming out with a fantasy series, like bigger fantasy series, and I shall be sad for that. I'm really excited to see how she does that and how her writing is going to be. So very excited for that. We all know this last one. It is coming out very soon. I will be there. I haven't even read the second book. I refuse to read the second book until the third book comes out. It is that serious for me. I'm not reading the second book until the third book comes out. I refuse. I don't care. You're not about to leave me on a cliffhanger, man. When I read Vicious, I did not know it was a series. I thought it was a standalone. And to be honest, I wish it was a standalone. It's perfect as a standalone. But then someone was like, did you read Vengeful? I'm like, who? No. And then they said Victorious was coming out. So I had to wait. I'm sorry. I'm not reading it until it comes out. October 6th. Y'all gonna see me on October 5th waiting for this book. It better be good. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm so sad for this. I think I just love Vicious so much because it was my first 5-star. Love that series. Can't wait. I'm sad. If you made it this far, thank you so much for staying along for the ride. This is probably going to be a very long video. I'm so sorry in advance. Or at the end. I don't know. But I apologize if I yapped a lot. These type of videos will probably be lots of yapping. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Comment down below any series that you're kind of in the middle of that you think I might like. I don't need more series, but I'm always down for another one. And without further ado, I shall see you guys next time.